and gentlemen, welcome to the CSR AdviceBox studio. I'm Marina Stefanova, and during the next meetings we will discuss step by step the right formula for the sustainability processes implemented in your business. Today we are discussing an important, interesting and inspiring topic, the one for how to build a successful partnership in your work. We will answer the questions: what is it? What does it require? How long does it take? How much does it cost? And finally, is it worth investing in it? Take a cup of delicious tea, put your headphones on, and let's start. There are many kinds of collaborative affiliations that you meet around the way. Some are coming from loose networks, completely informal, and some are really getting formal through rights and obligations among the partners. We will discuss only three of them. Networks. Members of a network have informal ties to each other and non-subordinative relationships. There are few expectations of members and no official obligation. Informal networks may emerge simply due to the clustering of people and activities. Being part of a network has many positive things. First, you enhance your access to information, to resources and knowledge. Second, you are part of a society community that is having a specific agenda, specific values, which you promote as your own. Third, it raises the quality of the product and services provided just because you collaborate with your colleagues and peers. And last but not least, it usually is the first step of building partnership, stronger and official one, and make innovative things in your business like products, processes or projects. Networks usually do not bring you with a lot of burden of work. You can participate, but it's not compulsory. You can exchange, but it's again by your own will. What happens is that usually you take responsibility and engagement to the stage that you prefer at the present moment. Number 2. Alliances. Alliances involve more formal relationships among organizations and individuals and usually focused on a particular issue or mission. There are clear expectations around task performance, contributions and conduct. Number 3. Coalitions. The coalition is a formal relationship among more than two organizations and perhaps involving individual members as well. It enables them to work together on a specific issue or projects. There are three main forms of coalitions. Grassroots coalitions form in times of crisis to pressure political decision makers to act. They are usually organized by volunteers and are politically controversial and short-lived. Professional coalitions may form in time of a crisis or as part of a long-term strategy to increase their power and influence. Usually a lead organization is established that contributes significant staff and financial resources. The third, community-based coalition, has broad community representation and involves both professional and volunteer leaders. They tend to be focused on positive action to improve conditions to community, work sites, schools or other local institutions. Number 4. Partnerships. They are usually formal and written as an agreement, and the two or more parties, they share together resources and responsibilities, usually to achieve a common goal. They require time, effort, small steps, shared success, trust and respect among parties. Number 5. Full collaboration. Usually when several parties agree to have full collaboration, they established a new entity, separate, having its own budget, human resources, and action plan. It has its own address, communication place, and terms of references. One practical question. How does the perfect partnership agreement look like? First, you usually build partnership among people or organizations, business or non-governmental, sharing the same value and deciding to work together on a hot issue coming from social or environmental field. Second, you have a detailed plan for implementation, budget, and a risk management system that is making the partnership go smoothly and having the results required. Number 3, it is focused on innovation, on process implementation, and it is having this result orientation mood. 4, but not last, partners are always having this spirit of sharing and collaboration in the input and in the results as an output. The partnership building is an ongoing process. It may look aside from your core business, but it's not. So you have to focus on it and follow, monitor, and improve it on the way. I really like the way how the United Nations Global Compact recommends step-by-step building the blocks of a successful partnership. That is why I will share it with you. Building block number 1. Choose the proper partnership composition. This means that you have all the stakeholders around, coming from governmental bodies, local administration, non-governmental organizations, businesses other like you, SMEs or multinational companies, associations, media. It is not necessary to have all of them in implementing one plan or looking for one objective. What you can do is choose the proper ones in order to achieve it faster, to become more sustainable in its longevity, and finally to really feel proud with the result and share it with your partners. Building block number 2. Define the role of each partner. You cannot expect that everybody contributes with everything on the table. There are core competencies, and that is why you already chose the proper partners. Some of you are enablers, others are developers, and what you want really to see is that everybody is putting their core competencies and their biggest achievements and share it with the others. Building block number 3. Define a roadmap. You cannot just pretend to be partners with no action plan that you can do. Defining your roles and putting stages of each phase that you implement with the time and resources that you are sharing together to implement it is a very important thing to the result you want to achieve in the end. So do it properly and share it accordingly. Building block number 4. Define the scope of the initiative and partnerships. Some of them can be local, defining and solving a local problem. Some of them should go international and having an objective to save the world, for example, like the Paris Agreement. Building block number 5. Define a management structure. Everything is coming from the heart and from the resources of each partner, but still you need a governance that is going to follow the planning implementation step by step. Maybe it is formal or it can be informal. You may choose whether to have a guaranteed written formal governance or several working groups focused on different stages of implementation. Building block number 6. Define the funding. Very important and crucial from the very beginning. What you need to know is where you can raise money from. First is coming, of course, from the parties involved, but then you have to have an action plan on how to engage more sponsors or more donors or public funding from outside. Final, building block number 7 is going to define how you are going to evaluate and monitor your activities and the implementation of the partnership agreement. The KPIs should be put from the very beginning, as long as you want really to define whether you will monitor them internally or invite an external third party in order to assure that everything goes smoothly. Partnerships can be various types. This means that you can choose to work on a global or local stage, to have a funding coalition to raise funds for a concrete cause, or to have an advocacy campaign where you want to promote a community objective or a new regulation, or to stop a new regulation implementation. Business and non-business organizations are different in choosing their type of partnership. For the businesses, it is really hard to think a little bit apart of their core focused business and their business partners, but what they want to see is the work done. This means that sometimes they just want to give the money or the other resources, and they don't want to promote the cause among their network, for example. Sometimes, on the contrary, especially when the businesses are smaller, they take the part of an advocate, public advocate, to show their faces, to come with their logo, and they hardly have the money to implement or to reach the wanted goal. In general, we may differentiate two types of partnerships. The first one is an ongoing, and the second one is time-bound. The ongoing partnership is very good for the long-term relations or for ongoing cause that you need to cover or to take care of. One of the risks is that it is hard to define when it already failed or how to roadmap all the parts of the long-term working together. The time-bound partnership, on the other hand, doesn't have this risk, but of course it has other ones, and this is the one that you usually are not being able to predict at a very strong basis what is going to be the outcome of this kind of a partnership. You have a detailed roadmap, but as long as you don't know your partners from before, it is hard to be sure that the result which is claimed is going to be achieved. For a first time, I will allow myself not to speak about money in this section, because I believe that money you can calculate by investing the human resource and the time resource of building these networks of people with common interests, of organizations with common goals. In my opinion, the money you cannot calculate by spending something. You can calculate them on the basis of investing something, and you can measure it after seeing the result. Sometimes the result is measurable, sometimes it is hard to do it. Please do not argue with your colleagues for the money invested in partnership. Sometimes when you fall, it is only the network of common interests, people and organizations that are going to help you to rise again. I like the saying, no man is an island. This is the same for the companies as the men. A business organization is smart enough to know the level, the limits of their competencies, of the opportunities that they have in order to save or to solve a problem or an issue coming from ecological or social field. They know that they are not the professionalists. That's why they invite collaborators from all the other stakeholder groups, from schools, from local institutions, sometimes from media. I know that to keep the partnership is a long and hard process. You have to know from the beginning what are the challenges, what are the risks, but also the opportunities of developing this partnership, and invest most of the last one. Probably the biggest challenge in order for a partnership to survive is to find the time and the human resources to nurture it, to follow it, to be there when it's needed, to participate actively in the ongoing process of developing this roadmap and implementation of the action plan. Do not forget that good partners are usually saving money, making everything more efficient, bringing synergy and finding solutions that cannot be found only by a single company, having the bigger impact, not the ones that you already presumed because you're tripling or making it 4 times bigger. And finally, getting to the end destination is bringing you much more satisfaction and recognition than being along during the whole way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with me, Marina Stefanova, and CSR AdviceBox, your partners on the way to sustainability. If you find it useful, subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notified on every new upcoming series. Do not forget to like us and share this with your peers, thus helping us increase our CSR Society of Practitioners worldwide. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the 2 weeks to come when we are going to discuss the environmental compliance. Till then, do not forget to follow our Facebook page and get informed on all CSR updates worldwide.